Happy Friday, wherever you are on this absolutely glorious sunshiny day. Today I'd like to talk about clinical supervision. So clinical supervision is a structured professional relationship between a qualified clinical hypnotherapist and another qualified clinical hypnotherapist, or a trainee clinical hypnotherapist, or a trainee spiritual hypnotherapist, if that's the route of learning or of study that you're taking. And this is a confidential space that you can come to reflect on your work. It might be on your homework, it might be on your coursework, it might be on your client work, it might be on the work that you do or are doing with the clients that you are working with. It might be a technical question about a tool or a technique, or it might be a question about continuing professional development, but you bring all of those to your colleague, myself actually in this case, for reflection and discussion. Now, that's what it is. Why is it important? Well, when you're studying, quite often you get in your head the theory, you understand the theory, you've got your head around it, but you haven't quite got it because you feel like maybe you need to experience it, or maybe you need to put it into action and practice it. So clinical supervision is a space where you can receive that therapy and have that learning experience. For me, I need that. Or you can actually have that kind of hands-on experience of delivering that particular style of therapy, or incorporating that technique into the work that you're doing. So it kind of bridges the gap that a lot of my colleagues certainly had when they graduated from clinical hypnotherapy training courses. It bridges the gap between the theory that we have and the practice that we want to put into action. Also, you may have practiced a technique and you may feel like you really know it and you really think it's the right selection, and maybe after graduation you're in your practice, maybe 5 years down the road from graduation, and you have a client come to you and you think, I really think that this particular tool, this particular technique would be fantastic for my client that is experiencing anxiety, depression, PTSD, fibromyalgia, who needs help with weight management, whatever it is that they come in and you think, I've got this idea and I just want to discuss it with another therapist. That's what I mean by bridging the gap between the theory and the practice. So while you're learning, it bridges the gap between theory and practice, and then when you're practicing, it bridges the gap. It continues to bridge that gap. It takes what you know, what you understand, what you've learned in the classroom, and it helps you to get your head around how you're going to deliver it in the therapy room. If you're out there on your own, you don't have that level of support, and so I think that support then gives you confidence. You know, confidence is so important. I was watching an interview the other day. It was podcast interview, and they were talking about it was a CIA agent, and he was saying that he'd received a gift of a bottle of whiskey from a colleague or a friend. They were in a bar together, and the barman said, you can't drink that here, you can't bring your own alcohol in, you've got to buy drinks in the bar. And he said, no, it's okay, it's a gift. And because he was so confident in how he put across this, it was a gift, but it was still a bottle of whiskey. He was still drinking it in a bar. The barman just went, oh, okay then, that's fine. He wasn't doing anything funny with his language. There were no hypnotic language patterns. There was none of that going on. He was just more confident. And when you believe in your tools, and when you believe in what you're doing, and when you have that bridge, you bridge that gap between theory and between practice, and you understand what you're doing and you know what you're doing and you're confident in what you're doing and what you're delivering, that's going to completely change your practice, and it's going to totally change the experience that your client has when they're with you as well. So having a chat about it, discussing your approaches with an experienced clinical supervisor helps you to feel really secure in your abilities, really safe in your practices, and it keeps you, supports safe practice as well. You know, seeing clients for the first time, it's super exciting. It can be a little bit terrifying as well. You need to ensure that you are working ethically. You need to ensure that you're following best practice and that you're not going beyond what you're kind of qualified to do, what you're competent to do. And what clinical supervision does is it makes sure that you stay within those really safe practice spaces, which also then gives you the confidence to go out and work with people. So when you first get started, you would book a supervision and you would say, hey Amanda, I need a supervision, I'm going to work with a client. And I'd be like, yay, you're going to start working with clients, that's fantastic, get yourself in for a supervision. Who are you seeing, what are you doing, what conversation have you had with them, what do you know about them? And they would share that with me. It's totally confidential, no information that would identify the person would be shared with me. It's just the kind of the bones of it, if you like. And then I would check in. Is this safe for them to work? Is it good for them? Can they work ethically? Can they work responsibly? Can they really effectively help this person? And I would help them to work within that safe space, practice space. And that would be also why supervision, clinical supervision, is really, really helpful when you're learning. But when you've graduated and when you're in your practice, quite often you come across situations where you think, ooh, I don't know what to do about this. I'm not quite sure whether I should point this out to the client because I have concerns about it, or I'm not sure where I'm at ethically. I'm not sure where I'm at professionally. I feel like I'm trained to do this, but I feel like I want to get some additional support. Come and book a supervision. You can have those conversations. We can reflect on where you're at, what you know, what perhaps the missing bits, if there are any. And then you can really feel safe, you can feel supported, and it supports you emotionally as a person as well, so that you can be excited about the work that you're doing, you can feel confident about what you're doing, and you can share concerns, you can share challenges, and then you can take action. You know, we also are going to be working with other healthcare practitioners, medical people, doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, counsellors as well. We need to be able to communicate with them, and if you've not done that kind of thing before, it also helps to get that support and guidance. Like, I've written a letter, I've sent an email, can you have a quick look at it before I hit send, and check those things. So that's what supervision is. And during your foundation and diploma I'm wobbling my phone, in clinical hypnotherapy, don't move, during your foundation and diploma in clinical hypnotherapy, you get 1 hour of clinical supervision for free for every module that you complete. So that's 11 hours of one-to-one supervision. You also have the opportunity to attend peer supervision. So this is supervision with your colleagues. This is a big group of hypnotherapists. Some are qualified, some have been at it for years, some have been teaching it, some are doing stage hypno, some are doing group session hypno, some are specialising in pain management, drug addiction. Everyone's got their own areas that they really specialise in. And you go to the group and you say, hey group, I've got a question, or hey group, I need your support, or hey group, I'm feeling a bit wobbly about this. And this is where the group then bring their support, their wisdom, their knowledge, their advice. They cheer you on, and that's ongoing because we have a little community chat space where that's happening all day, every day. I've just been having a little look in the chat this morning. There was a really amazing question came in, totally legitimate question. And everybody chimed in with what they thought, and it was so beautiful to see the support and the encouragement that's in that space, as well as advice on where to look to find more information or offers of I'll practice that with you. Because there's the peer supervisions are questions and answers space, they're supportive spaces, but they're also opportunities to practice and to work with each other as therapists as well. So professional supervision and peer supervision. Once you've graduated, once you're practicing, and you're a qualified clinical hypnotherapist or spiritual hypnotherapist, you're out in the world doing your amazing sessions, supervision is going to be really, really valuable for you because it helps with your professional growth. It helps you to continue to refine your techniques, and it helps you to learn new approaches. We're in an industry where things are just changing so rapidly all the time. We're learning more about the brain, about the mind, about how everything works, and as that information comes in, I share that with the community, and we're all learning together all the time. So that community space is great because we're all learning together, no matter what kind of level you're at, but it's great if you're a qualified practitioner to have that space to be in as well. We elevate the people who are learning, and we continue to learn all the time so that we are always in that place of professional growth and professional learning, continuing professional development. Supervision gives us a space where we can be accountable for the way that we practice it. It ensures that we maintain very high professional standards, and that we are adhering to our associations, we're adhering to the ethics and the codes of conduct that we have laid down and recommended. Now, hypnotherapy is not a regulated industry, like counselling is not a regulated industry. So we are self-regulated, which I think for most of us means that we actually have higher standards than a lot of other therapists, because we are absolutely, we look at everybody else's ethics and we bring them together and we go, I like that and I want that and I want that continuing professional development and I want to work in that way. So ethical accountability is also what you gain from clinical supervision when you're a qualified clinical hypnotherapist. And then, you know, at the minute, because of the way that the world is, and because of the way that the NHS is, there are an abundance of people who are in need, and everyone's really busy. Everyone's absolutely busy. And as therapists, that means we could potentially be at risk of burnout ourselves when we start to fall out of love with what we're doing, or when we feel exhausted by what we're doing, or when we start taking what we're doing home and it starts to have an impact on us. Burnout can actually completely shut us down, and it can stop us. That's my dog going mental, so just ignore him. I think that's my new printer just arrived from Amazon delivery man. But yes, the professional supervision doesn't help dogs stop dogs barking. But professional supervision, clinical supervision for hypnotherapists can prevent burnout. That means that it can help. We can support you to like talk you through some of those difficult cases if it is really affecting you emotionally. It can help to kind of manage the emotional load, and maintain professional boundaries, but also really take care of yourself as well. It's great for problem solving. And that shared learning space is a space where we can hear how other therapists would approach similar challenges. It broadens your toolkit, it provides you with multiple perspectives, and I think for me it reduces isolation. I work by myself, I've got a beautiful clinic space, but I'm in there on my own. I see my clients and I work with them all day, but sometimes it can feel a little bit lonely, and it's it's just the most amazing blessing to be able to come to a community space and go, hello, people who understand me, people who are in my business, people who are passionate to support others in the way that I am, and just feel that sense of community and that sense of connection. So group supervision creates community, peer supervision creates community support, and we run a peer supervision every month on a Friday evening, and we have our hypno huddles, which are our student peer-led practice spaces. This is for qualified therapists and trainee therapists to come together to practice the techniques, and it is a form of peer supervision. It's a form of mentoring each other as well. If you're a clinical hypnotherapist and you're not in supervision, I totally recommend that you engage in that. And if you're a trainee, know that the Northern College of Clinical Hypnotherapy, you will get supervision as a part of your training programme. And if you need more than your prescribed amount that you get for free, there are discounts on offers as well for supervision. So clinical supervision for hypnotherapists, peer supervision for hypnotherapists. That was what I wanted to talk about today, because it's Friday and we have our peer supervision on Fridays, and I just think it's such an important topic to talk about. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. If you want to share your thoughts in the chat, I'd really like that. And if you're thinking about training, do get in touch. Our September intake is coming up. Our first meet and masterclass is at the end of September, and if you join now you get 7 full days for free, so access to everything for absolute free. Get to know what's there, find your way around all our resources, meet and chat with me, join the community, see what I mean, what I'm talking about with that beautiful community support. It's so valuable. And thank you very much for watching me today talk about this. It's something I feel is really important when you're a therapist and you're supporting others. It's about getting that support for ourselves. It's growth for us, it's personal growth, it's professional growth, and it means that we practice in the best way that we can. So thank you for watching and have a lovely Friday. Enjoy the sunshine. Bye for now.